On LinkedIn, I've seen a lot of people talking about various products, and a lot of them, I'm afraid, are just wrappers. And they're wrappers without safeties. They're wrappers where they're trying to keep a secret recipe all to themselves. And some people even suggesting we help these people. No, we shouldn't help these people. We should make our own products so that we have a direct relationship with the people that are actually doing the large language models. And for today's message, we're going to be using Gemini, but there are ways to use other products. And we're going to use Gemini because we're a Google school. We have all of the infrastructure in place. Today's session is really going to be for people who are already very comfortable with the Google apps. And if you're not a level 2 certified Google person, this is going to be challenging. So I'm not going to tell you the basics of how to do a Google form or anything like that. But what you can see here is a standard Google form. You can see that you can send a copy of the responses, and what you can see is just me typing in a little prompt to generate a story. Most of the action is going to happen in a G script. Nothing's actually added to the Google form itself except making sure that it goes across. So we go across to our Google Sheet, and you can see there it says it's processing. It's given the prompt back. And the way I've configured this is that it will then send an email to me with the prompt. And I'd suggest that's a good way to do it with your students. To get started, you're going to need an account with the Google AI Studio. You're going to need to get yourself an API key. That's just there. I'm very cautious here. I'm not going to show you exactly how to do that, but I'm sure you can figure it out. Once you've done that, you will need to make an app script. I'm just showing you on a blank one here. Again, being a little bit cautious because I know what happens when you lose your API keys. This project has been deleted, obviously, but you need to add an app script. Now, I'm going to call it the correct property name here, which is Gemini API key, but then I'm just going to put in some rubbish for the value. You need to find the value of your real key to do this. And that's really important. Now, let's have a look at the real code itself. So what we'd like to happen is going to be really exciting because basically, unlike other GPTs or something, the teacher is going to see the prompts and they're going to see the answers straight away live, and in fact before the students see it in most cases. Now, this is extremely powerful and very helpful. Now, if you want somebody outside the classroom or who's not looking at the Google Sheet, then you can put an email address in here. I've found that at the moment it's just me doing it, so I can just see the sheet as is live. Then we have a few constants. Very important that these match the names of the fields in the sheet. Then we have the thing to get the API key, which for obvious reasons, I am not sharing with you on a YouTube channel. I've seen enough creators have problems with that. And then, now this is important, right? So if you've got a fairly good set of students, they're sensible, you want them to have an exciting and fun lesson, then you can trigger on form submission, it will come by, and you just have to check the sheet as you go along to make sure nothing untoward is going. Now, this is not the only safety check by any means, and it's pretty easy to rewrite this app script so that it only goes when the teacher presses a button. And so we've got the column indices, a little bit of basic validation, but I would recommend that if you're in a Google Classroom, what you do is you force collection of the emails so you don't even have to do that. Initial status that it's processing, so that just shows up while it's getting the information, gets the data for submission, and does that basic check of the validation. Yes, we call that Gemini API, which, as you know, the API key is not there, but if you followed my instructions, your API key will be there. And then what we have is the response. So this is send the story directly to the student, and this enables us to do an email. This is a little bit of error handling based on common problems that we might have. So hopefully these are fairly easy to catch. And this is the call. So this is where the API sends the key quietly behind the scenes and sends it. And I know most of this code has really been for GScript, but what is this magic sauce that everybody keeps talking about? Being a wrapper, making things amazing, being brilliant prompt. Oh yeah, that's it right there. One little line of code. And I'm going to guess that in most cases, it's one button, it's one line of code, and that is all you are getting for your money. And if, like me, you want to keep it cheap, you're going to use the cheapest. And I've heard a lot of rumors that people are using the old versions of ChatGPT, like 3.5. They're using the very cheap versions of Gemini. And of course, it's their secret sauce, so you've got no idea what they're using behind the scenes. Unlike this, where we know exactly what prompt we put in, this is another level of safety because we're saying it's got to be suitable for classroom use, and Gemini will pay attention to that. However, that's not the only thing. Just to be very, very clear, we've put the threshold to the highest we possibly can. So anything that it even suspects, even vaguely, it's immediately going to block it. And of course, the key thing is, if anything does get sent, you can immediately tell that student not to do it. So what you can see here are a number of levels of safety to help your students and to make sure that we are teaching them about AI, but we're doing it in as safer an environment as possible. You know what I mean? And that's really powerful. And the big difference here is the teacher is fully in charge. So that is really, really powerful. Now, I'm not going to be mean. I'm going to share this code. But if you do need help and you need help with configuration, etc., then obviously, please do reach out to us and we can discuss how we can support you. So I hope that's been fun, and I hope that's demystified what a wrapper is and how really you shouldn't need to pay a lot of money for one. Thank you very much. If you want more videos, make sure you sub to the channel as usual, and do be sure to check out the code and have fun with it. See you on the next video.